We are going live. We are live.
Woo!
Então, opa, eu tô aqui hoje com os diretores dos longas mais assustadores do festival. Eu tô aqui com o Larry Wade Carrell. Eu tô aqui com o Charles David Ruiz III, que faz parte de uma dinastia, ele é o terceiro. E eu tô aqui com o John Rainwaters, right? Do American Cannibals. Então, o John e o David, eles são os diretores do American Cannibals e o Larry é o diretor do Girl Next. E a gente vai bater um papo aqui hoje para saber as particularidades desses filmes, sobretudo estou muito curiosa para saber do American Cannibals, porque mistura ficção, mistura documentário e parece que tem vampiros de verdade no filme, eu quero saber essa história. So, I was saying that I'm very curious to know about, your film because, what's that story about real vampires in the film?
Well, me and John have known each other for a very long time, and we decided one day, out of the blue, we're like, hey, let's make a movie. And my genre for sure is horror. I love horror movies. And we decided to make a vampire movie. And then we were trying to figure out a way to make our vampire movie unique. So we started looking into stuff online and things like that, and found an actual vampire group called the Rocky Mountain Vampire Family. They're about 300 strong. And
wait. 300?
Yes, 300 members of this group. Yes. And they're actually connected to multiple different groups across the United States as well. So there are vampire groups all in almost every major city in the United States, and all of them are connected into one big, huge group.
Wow.
And we thought, hey, why not go really unique and cast real vampires in a vampire movie? So that's what we did.
Right. Well, that's a very simple idea. Let's get the real vampires into the thing. But the documentarists that will do the film, they are not vampires. The vampires are only the vampires, right? Because they are the ones that are going to tell it. I don't want to be a spoiler here. See, here, look at me being a spoiler already.
Well, actually, when you watch the movie, everybody in the movie is part of that Rocky Mountain Vampire family. Every single person in there.
Wow.
So we cast everybody from the Rocky Mountain Vampire family and threw them all in this movie as different parts. The documentary crew, the vampires, and the story is actually based on mine and John's experience trying to make this movie. Right. And the people we contacted and how we got involved with the whole thing. And so the actual story is really mine and John's story, except we lived. But
except but are you vampires now?
No, definitely not.
Oh God. Yeah, because that's very curious. That's very interesting. It's a very interesting concept. I love the idea of having, this thing that you cannot really, say, what's what, because it's very confusing for the audience.
Yeah, we want the audience to really, like, when they're done watching this movie, I want them to go outside and look side to side and realize this is real. These people really do exist, and they are around you all the time, which is kind of scary in itself too, because a lot of them do really drink blood and share blood and all of that sort of stuff, and it's kind of spooky at times.
Well, so you cannot be like have fear of blood to be.
No, no, not at all.
So Larry was here. Larry was here yesterday, and we were talking about his film.
Yeah, Girl Next. It's a story about this young woman named Lorian West who gets abducted when she's out getting groceries one day, and she wakes up and she's in the middle of nowhere in Texas in this strange house with these strange people, this weird tribe of human traffickers, but they use MK Ultra, trauma-based mind control, and drugs to try to, well, they don't try, they do turn these women into what they call Sophia dolls, and they sell them on the black market. And Girl Next is the story of Lorian and her experiences there, and you have to watch it to see if she gets out or not. But it was a labor of love, and we worked really hard on it. And a lot of people don't know, but my partner, Zeffy Daniel, he wrote the script, and he also produced. But Zeff used to be known as Woody Keith, and back in the 80s, he did Society, was his first thing he wrote that got made. He worked on Bride of Reanimator, and he went and directed his own movies, Dementia. Some of my favorite video nasties. So that's a lot to do with why Girl Next has been received so well. I felt like I was a guy who loved those 80s video nasties, and I found an undiscovered script, but it was brand new. So it had a lot of that meat and potatoes into it, but it relates to everything going on today. It's very, very now. So.
Oh, that's very cool.
Do you guys hear him well?
Yes.
I can hear him, yeah.
I have some statics or something when
man. Sorry.
But probably it's not going to be like that when, the thing's recorded. It's just I'm hearing it. This is what happened because, I'm in Brazil. I'm very far from you guys. You guys are closer. It was like the other day I was talking to the Australian and they were listening to each other and I couldn't hear well, one of them. And in the end, when we saw the recording, it was fine.
Nice.
Same setup from yesterday. So.
I can hear him clearly, so.
So tell us a little bit about the production and about your work and, and your plans and everything. What the film went through, the American Cannibals film, because, how long did you take to make the film and, these details that the public may want to know about?
I'll let John answer that.
Filming wound up taking long. I was going to say filming took longer than we expected just because the COVID virus happened and kind of shut us down. We started August 2019.
Yep.
And finished. It was done right about December of 2020. So yeah, a good year and a half production time.
Thanks to COVID. I was just going to say, thanks to COVID, it really did mess up our production for a good long while.
So even vampires had to suffer that shit, huh?
Exactly.
I was going to say that it may not be very safe to drink blood nowadays with the COVID, right?
Right.
I don't think it was safe before, but now it's particularly unsafe, right?
I hear they're checking vaccination cards now.
Yeah,
maybe that's the way for the vampires to get vaccinated. Maybe that's the way for the vampires to get vaccinated. Drink somebody that's been vaccinated.
Yeah, because they're already drinking the blood of vaccinated people. They don't have to. They're gonna overdose on the vaccine.
There you go.
No, that's very interesting.
But yeah, no,
wow.
we had some interesting venue sets that we used for the filming. One of the main scenes takes place in this huge maze that was already lit up for us, black lights and all, and it turned out looking really, really slick. And then there's also this really, really cool looking pub in downtown Denver called the Fainting Goat that made for a really great scene as well.
So you guys, so you traveled to shoot the film?
I was already living in Denver at the time, and John came to town to do his part.
Ah, right. Because you said you were in Seattle, so I was like.
Yeah, now we're both in Seattle.
You run away from the vampires.
They're scary.
You're safer a little bit of a distance, right?
Right. Well, I know that Seattle has the same sort of group here that's connected to them down there. So.
That's so cool.
And they have huge parties in New Orleans. It's a big. If you look at the New Orleans Vampire Ball or the Denver Vampire Ball, all of these groups are connected to each other. and they have
Vampire
huge
Ball.
parties.
That's cool. That's cool. Did you get to? Do you think about doing a sequel of the film and then traveling around the world? Maybe you should go to Europe and look for vampires there in castles and everything. It may be
That would be awesome.
I'd really
we've
like
actually
to
talked
see
about
us
a sequel,
maybe.
but go ahead, John.
I was going to say, I'd actually like to see maybe an origin story of, some of the main vampires that show up in this flick.
Like a prequel.
Exactly,
Yeah.
like a prequel. Like, for example, one of the favorites so far seems to be a guy named Raziel. Am I saying that right? Raziel.
Yeah, Raziel Tallis. He's also known as the Prince of Denver. If you look him up online, he's the long-haired vampire, the really scary one in the movie. That's who he is.
Right.
Maybe something that shows. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Tell me. I want to know.
I was just gonna say, maybe something that is earlier in his life that occurs, and kind of follow him as the main star instead of the documentary crew being the main people in this one.
Wow, that's a lot to absorb. So
it's funny during filming of these guys, there were certain scenes, like you'll see a scene in there. I'll just say this, so I don't want to spoil it. So you'll see a scene where it's all lit blue, and Raziel, which is the long-haired vampire, is doing something which is drastic. And during those moments, we were sitting there filming. We have these cameras set up, and started realizing as this film keeps going further and further, or the scene keeps going further, I started backing up away from him, and then realized, oh no, this is a movie. I need to stay here and film.
Right.
Because he can be really intense, and your automatic reaction is to back away. This is a predator, and you had to stop ourselves from backing away from these guys and stay right there and film it and catch all the action. And it was fun.
Yeah, because I was going to ask if at any point you guys were fearful of what was happening in the film. Actually, it was because when you're a director, you're in control of what happens in the film. Mm-hmm. Of course, when you do a documentary, you go with the flow. You shoot stuff that's happening, and you need to take advantage of that, of what's happening, because this is what documentaries are all about. But since your film is it's a mix of originally us as directors, we have the control of the set, we have the control of what we're filming, of what's going on, and it's like in your film you have this element of surprise, and that you really are not in control of what may happen there, because it's out of your
that's actually quite right. A lot of the filming, we had set lines and set script and all that, but we would tell them, look, we want you to improvise too. So here's the scene. This is what we want in this scene. Do it how you would do it. This is what we want. And we let them run with it. And we basically sat there and captured what they were doing. And that's what you're seeing in the movie. So a lot of it, we had no control over. We were just bystanders, actually just filming it and watching what was going on.
It's almost like a horror porn.
There's actually...
so almost like a porn, you're filming, but you cannot really control what's going on. Sorry.
I like that.
Welfare.
It's actually... I was going to say, there's actually quite a few unscripted moments in there too, where we actually interviewed, everyday people that weren't cast, and asked them various questions regarding the content that we were making.
Yeah, all the downtown scenes, all the people that you see in there are actually people we stopped on the street to interview, to get their opinion. And so those are just not even actors. Those are just people that were walking by who were like, hey, you want to be interviewed real quick? And they're like, sure. That's what happened.
Wow. So did you guys take the film to many festivals? I mean, what you're doing with the film? What's the what's next for the film?
We've gone through a few festivals. We've won a few awards. We did sign with a distributor. It's not actually out yet. It won't be out till next year, distributed. But we did sign with a distributor out of Europe, and we're just waiting on that. We're already working on our next movie as we speak too. So got to keep going.
So this new movie that you guys are working on is the follow-up or the pre-sequel of this film, or it's another story, it's another thing?
It's a completely other story.
Huh? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Oh no, it's an other story.
It's a what?
It's a different story.
It's a different story.
A different story. It's a different story.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So is it a fictional or a documentary?
It's a horror fictional. It's a slasher movie.
Oh, cool. So it's another film for you to send to my festival.
Exactly.
Because Larry is also finishing up a new film, and he's going to send to the festival too. Tell us about it, Larry, about your next film.
It's interesting. It's kind of along the lines of what you guys were talking. It's actually like a kind of a companion piece to Girl Next. I wouldn't say it's exactly a prequel, but it's kind of going on kind of at the same time. And what we learned in the Quantum Devil is called the Quantum Devil. If you've seen Girl Next, you know it deals with a lot of drugs and hallucinations and you know, these very dark forces. And then in the Quantum Devil, we find out that when Heinrich uses the quantamine drug, the aquavelva, it is a hallucination. He's actually crossing dimensions. So we explore that more in the Quantum Devil, and it follows the adventures of Heinrich's father. And he sends an invitation out all the four corners of the world and brings these four scientists in with the promise of this quantum physics equation that supposedly can't be solved. He says he solved it. So they go there and they try to break through to the quantum dimension, and then like people die and crazy shit happens and good shit.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah,
you
well,
guys
it's
you guys have to connect. I'm gonna put you guys in contact with each other so you guys can see each other's films.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I watched the trailer. It looked really good.
I'm sorry, Larry. I'm sorry. I was going to say that Larry's film, it's like amazing. It's like a very, very interesting film.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Super.
Well,
you guys gonna
like
like
I
it.
said,
It's strong like you guys like it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and anybody out there that wants to catch it here in the States, we're on Tubi right now. You can get Girl Next on Tubi in North America and the United States. And it's also in like a lot of festivals that are online, and like in Rio de Janeiro, it's available through the Rochat Film Festival. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I encourage everybody to see it. We worked really hard on it, and I'm very proud of all my actors. Did a great job. The crew, everything. It's the first time out of all the movies I've made, it's the first time I actually finally got close to the vision I had in my head from the script.
Nice.
I thought that was cool.
So the festivals that you guys went to, they were all online, or did you go to like real live festivals?
Which one?
No, you American, because I know already the answer for Larry, because he told us yesterday we were talking about this. So I would like to know from you: did you guys go to real life festivals or only?
Yeah, we've done.
Festivals
we've done. Yeah, we've had some real life festivals. We had a screening at the what is it? The TLC Theater in California. We've been to a few live festivals and a few online festivals, so it's a mix. During COVID, most of them were online, but a few of them did do live festivals.
Right. And did you get to do like this round tables and talk to the people and the audience about the film?
No, most of them didn't do stuff like this. We did record a couple of pre videos, like the one that I did for you for this one.
Thank you
We
for
did that for no problem. We did a couple of those, but other than that, no one really did roundtables or anything too much. So this is the first one we've done. So I think this is awesome.
Yeah, it's cool because we get to talk about the films and know things about it and production and stuff. So I was going to ask you, how can you raise money to make a film like that?
Well, this one, we actually funded it all ourselves. So maxed out all the credit cards. That was our big thing. We just maxed them out. And then we're looking to make the money for this one on the back end through the distribution and stuff like that. And hopefully earn that money back is the hope of every filmmaker, I'm sure. And the next
we're all
one,
in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. I mean, you have to do this kind of things if you want to get your stuff done.
Yeah, exactly. And the next movie we're making, we're filming the first 15 minutes, and then we're going to go through and do crowdfunding to get the rest of the money to finish off the major part of the movie that is going to take place in a huge venue downtown Seattle.
So one thing that, this is like to talk to all of you, it's not particular, but I mean, I've been wondering because I've been somebody told me about it, and I've been wondering if this is a good venue, a good way of, getting financing for films. Now, this NTF thing.
Which
NFTs?
NFT, I said NTF, right? So NFT thing. Did you already, do you know anything about it? I mean,
Non-fungible token.
Yes.
It's
yeah, I don't. It's oh, go ahead, man.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say that looking into it.
Okay.
Go ahead, brother.
No, it's just it's something we're looking into for Chrys House, especially with the Quantum Quartet and all the movies we have, but it's very interesting, definitely very interesting.
So you, John, tell us what were you going to say?
I was actually I was talking with another artist that I know that said, the amount of content you would have to create with as NFTs is a full-time job in itself, to actually make it worth, it being a part of your arsenal, I guess you could say.
Were you getting a call, Charles?
It looks like that. Give me just a second. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. So we keep talking about our story about the NFT, right? No, because I have friends, and there are filmmakers that friends of mine in the U.S. that told me about this possibility, and they said that they were able to start raising money for film through that. Because in the beginning, when I first heard of it, I thought it was a platform only for visual artists, for like paintings or photographs and things like that. But then a friend of mine said to me that they were raising money for a film. And I said, oh, that's cool, something to look into. But I mean, I have no idea how it works because I haven't been able to, so that's why I'm asking you, because maybe you guys already had contact with this thing.
Yeah, I mean, from the sounds of it, maybe I need to look into it some more.
My wife's the expert on the all the digital crypto stuff, and the way I understand it, you create a digital signature, kind of like creating a Bitcoin. It's totally like a one-of-a-kind thing. And I know that Cronenberg just did like a 1-minute movie of him dying, and it did like really well. And you can like Google him, check it out. But it was pretty interesting. It's a cool little like 1-minute film. Like he's just in there dead in the bed, and he walks up and looks at himself, and it's pretty cool. Yeah,
well, I think this is something we should explore because, with the pandemic and all that, things changed in the world, financing and, the world is not in a very good position. Nobody is in a very good position. So it will be harder maybe to raise money for films. So we should look into possibilities. And I think maybe this NFT, right, thing, maybe is an option. Because I don't know how it works there in the US, the crowdfunding thing. Here in Brazil, I mean, I don't see it being something that you really, maybe you can raise money for a short film, but not for a feature film. So.
Yeah.
Here we have other means of making films, right? Like through mainstream, tax rebate things from the government, because we have like a thing that allows the culture to have 3% of the companies to put money, 3% of what they would pay in taxes to put in the films. But in order to get that money, you get an approval you send a project to the government and you get an approval, and then you have to go look for the money with the companies. So you have to go to the companies and then talk to them and then say, okay, look, this is my film, and here's my stamp. So if you could please give me 3% of your taxes to my film. But it's a very complicated process because it takes time, and then you have to get to know the people from the companies and all that. And so it's not easy. So I as an international filmmaker, I like to do things internationally. I'm thinking now of doing, my projects like international co-productions. So have the, co-producers from different countries, and then each one gets a part of the share, and each one gets part of the money or the means to do the film. Either the post-production, either the production, either the camera, or whatever, some of the cast, and then do international co-production. So we do an international co-production for my film where I'm the major, and then we do a co-production of their film, and they are the major, producer of the film. So we help each other like this. I'm in co-production with Spain, and I'm in co-production now with Uruguay. And we have 2 films, and I have my film that we are trying to, join forces to make.
Nice.
Yeah.
The Quantum Devil, the one we just did, was a joint production with Serbia, with the Talking Wolf Productions was our Serbian, on the Serbian side, and Chrys House, and we went over there and it was all Serbian crew. And one of the main reasons we went there was a rebate. And then of course the dollar went a little further over there, but it was a great experience, very good experience.
Plus, it's beautiful. Now, did you get to travel a little bit there? I know that Croatia too is beautiful. Serbia, I don't know if the landscapes, and do you have like great locations there and things? I mean, Europe's nice. Anyways,
I was downtown Belgrade. I was just like right there in the square, and I could, pretty much walk to things. But I pretty much saw my little apartment and then the set and back and forth. And when I was off, I was trying to stay ahead of everything, prepping the next day's shoot, making sure we made it count. So yeah, I was over there for almost like 3 months, and I just saw restaurants and apartment.
the thing is, when we go to Europe, us being from new countries, right, new world countries, where things are brand new, right? We go to Europe, and then we even walking in the streets. I mean, everything is a location to me, right? Everything has an atmosphere. Everything has a charm. So this could add up to a film a lot, to the production value.
Well, one thing I got to give credit to my producer, Loris Kirchi. I've done a couple films with him in different countries, like in Istanbul, and like when I went to Serbia. And he always will put me in a room somewhere, and then we have to kind of walk to everything, and you go in there, and in Serbia, I'm living there, so I have to learn to change my own money and count my own money and go get my own groceries and get my own toilet. But you get to really experience the country. You get to meet people and talk to people and have interactions and build relationships and, you know, get to know the ladies and it's a really good way to do it, you know, rather than just go into a hotel, get in your car, go to the set, come back, and you know, never experience the country.
It's enriching.
Dude,
right?
rakia. yeah, I forgot rakia. Yeah, that's their alcohol there. Mm-hmm.
I did a film in Argentina, but it had nothing to do with the city because I did a film. It was a documentary too. And that's why I told you that sometimes you have to wait for things to happen so you can take advantage of it. And actually, I did a film that it was really that because it was a film about the whales in Patagonia.
Oh, I looked it up.
Yeah. Oh, you saw that? Yeah, it's a film that I did. It's a documentary I did with a guy that he is an Emmy winner, submarine photographer, cinematographer, and he does all the films for BBC and Discovery, all the marine, sea life, you know.
I love those films.
Yeah. So this guy Didier Noirot, he is a French guy that he is a ex diver for Jacques Cousteau. He was a Jacques Cousteau diver. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, we were friends, and he said to me one day he was in the airport in Genebra, and then he said to me, he called me and he said, "Okay, I'm going to Patagonia to film the whales. If you want to film the whales, this is your chance." So the next day I was on the plane going to Buenos Aires to meet him. And an American, documentarist that was going to Patagonia to do his film, his documentary. And Didier was coming from Europe to shoot the documentary with him. And so I joined them in Buenos Aires, and then we took like a flight to Trelew, which is the city near this area in Patagonia where you have this park. It's like a UNESCO protected area where the whales, the southern right whales, go to give birth, to have the calves and and to feed them and da. So it was an amazing experience because it was like when you do a documentary, generally you do research, you prepare, and then you go, and then you have things happening, and then you capture them. In my case, I did a backwards documentary because I went with no preparation. I had no idea what I was going to film. I only took a pair of shoes, and it was so cold. I had no idea it was so cold. It was like freezing, absolutely freezing cold. Ooh. And because it's a humid cold, it's not the cold that we have like in the Alps or in the mountains when we go skiing. It was like, with the breeze from the sea and all that. But it was an amazing experience because it was like an expedition to film these guys doing, it was a meta documentary. It was a documentary on their documentary. How these guys go to these locations to do this film and how they do it. And so everything, it was a surprise for me. And, I actually fell in love with a whale. I mean, the whales, they are amazing. And they come and they look at you in your eyes. It's like, they are so intelligent. It's like you're in a small boat and you have this big whale. And it's like, you don't understand how it could turn your boat very easily, but it doesn't. Because, the whales know you're, a little guy that's there in the boat, and it doesn't want to hurt you, right? And yeah. And so this was like a lifetime experience because it was like a dream to go to Patagonia. I really wanted to do that, and it happened like this. And it's interesting when you film nature because you need to wait the nature to happen. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, definitely.
You want. So it's very humbling. It's a very humbling experience to film nature.
I feel that way about actors.
You know what? It's funny
Yeah.
because there is a part in the film, like towards the end of the last day that we were shooting there in the boat, and he had a red all set up. It's like $120,000 set up this red that he had to shoot because he throws in the water and he dives and he films it. And
Wow.
I sat on the remote control, and all the sets that were set up for the camera, they were like fucked. And the whales came, and they were like setting up the thing, and I was like, oh my god, he's gonna throw me out of the boat now. This minute, I'm fucked. But yeah, so it was a great experience.
That sounds awesome. That really does.
Yeah, so I wanted to share that with you guys because, it's good to go. So did you guys went abroad and shoot something out of the U.S. already? Any project?
I never have.
No.
I would love to.
I can't
definitely
say
would
I
love
have.
to.
I mean, I've definitely traveled over in Europe, but I've never filmed or I've never even had a digital camera over in Europe. So that would be nice to be able to just go over there with a camera and kind of do the tour of the countries over there.
Could go vampire hunting.
Yeah, I think you guys should do that. Go to, Transylvania or something and try to get some, to get to the bottom of the story where the
right
comes from. You go with a camera and you just do,
just film it all.
You film the thing and you try to find the real vampire there. Maybe you're gonna find something.
And then somebody finds our camera like 20 years later and we've been gone. Nobody knows where we're at.
Found footage. Okay, yeah.
Found footage.
Well, you would have done the film anyways.
Yeah.
You would be the star of the film.
It's kind of funny.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was going to say it's kind of funny because the movie I did in Istanbul was a vampire documentary about a reality TV crew, an international reality TV crew, and I played the cocky American camera guy, which was a stretch. But we went to we went to Istanbul and we followed the trail of Vlad the Impaler, and we actually we shot under Dracula's castle in the catacombs.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, but it never it didn't come out here in the States, but it came out over there. I think it's called it was called The Ghost of Gareth when I shot it. Then they changed the name of it. I think it's Vlad's Legacy. I'm not sure, but Patricio Valadares directed it. And if you look on his IMDb or something, you can find it. We had a blast doing that.
Playing the cocky cameraman.
Yes. That's why I'm going to go find it.
You can Google the trailer.
I
was the only American on the crew.
I have a friend in I have a friend in south of England, and he's a filmmaker too. But he does also. He was a creator of a character for children called Dr. Snuggles, which is very, very famous there. And we went. I went with my husband at the time to his house. And it's a very cute house, in south of, close to the Stonehenge area. It's it's like you're in a Anthony Hopkins film, with the green grass and the sheep, and it's very beautiful. The little pubs with it looks like a Snow White house with the, and you drink a very good ale there. And
there you go.
We have to think about that part. This is a rock horror film.
Oh yeah.
Right? So he had like many cars, and it's funny because these guys that live in England, they all have Jaguars. He had like 2 Jaguars in the thing. I said, "Oh, this is so posh, right? The guy has 2 Jaguars in the garage." And but he had another car that was a BMW, and then he was like going around this area of south of England, showing us castles, and we're going to have like tea in the castles. Some of them were like hotels, and they have like the 5 p.m. tea and all that. And we would go by a castle, and he'd say, "Oh, this castle there is haunted. This castle there is haunted." So I mean, there are a lot of haunted castles in England, and so maybe
I would
we
think
should
they'd
think
all be
about.
haunted.
Maybe we should think about making. I mean, you already have like a team here. Think about making a haunted castles in Europe. I don't know if it has been done already.
And we could just do it
Don't
better.
they already have that called Ghost
We
Hunters?
can do it better. I like it. Let's get together and do something like that. It's fun, right? To go around, filming castles and
Oh yeah.
finding out if they are haunted.
I like the scary. I grew up in a haunted house, down in Texas.
Yeah.
As my dad's house. It had been there for 100 years, and all sorts of weird stuff would happen there. You'd have stuff thrown at you and stuff like that. So I grew up around all that
Really?
stuff.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it was an interesting house.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, that's very cool. I mean, people would be very interesting. Tell us about that a little bit more. My audience is gonna love that stuff.
Yeah, well, my dad's house. This is in El Paso, Texas, down in the lower valley there. It's a huge 2-story house. When it was first built, it was built by some German settlers that had come to the area. It was just desert all around it, and my grandfather came in and bought the house from them. And some of the weird things about this house when he bought it were it had secret passageways and like secret holes in the floor that you could like crawl into and cover yourself up. We're not sure why, but it has all this stuff in it. So my grandfather ripped all that out and built it into just a normal, regular house. But in the plans for this house, there's supposed to be a second basement to it. It's a 3-story house altogether. But nobody ever knew where the second basement was. So they just figured, he never actually built it. They figured he just never built the second basement. But then, like all my life, my dad would tell me stories from when he was a kid, because he grew up in that house from being a little kid, about little kind of like dolls that would like appear and float and wave at him and stuff like that. And
no.
Yeah,
Really?
that's the stories my dad told me. Me personally, I saw there's one night I was laying in bed, I woke up, and there was this little boy just looking down at me. And I opened my eyes really wide because I was like, what the world? And he just turned around, ran to the wall, and disappeared. And I was just like, oh, shit. We had other moments where you'd be falling asleep and you'd feel like somebody just yanked on your hair, like the back of your head. From that crack in between the bed and the wall, you could feel like somebody yanked on it there.
Jesus, you are like a horror movie, since childhood.
Right? Yeah, well, it's funny, when my mom and dad got divorced, I was happy to move away from that house. I was like, oh no, go away.
Oh, yeah. And does anybody live there now?
Yeah, my dad actually still lives there, and since then, everything has calmed down in the house. Nothing happens there anymore. But
really?
yeah, at one time, I was
he's very
terrified.
courageous. He's brave, your dad, to live alone in that house. Is he
right? He loves the house. I'm like, okay, that's your house. I'll live in Seattle instead.
So what does he think about you making horror movies now? Does he think you got traumatized from your childhood?
Right? My dad, personally, he doesn't mind the horror movies. He thinks I put myself in dangerous situations, like going with real vampires and stuff like that. That's his big thing. It's like, don't get killed and have them suck your blood or anything. I'm like, I'm trying, Dad. Trust me, I'm trying. I don't want to.
Wow.
Which segue? That's the only reason he had me come on board with this, was so that if they did attack, he could just like push me towards them and take off.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, take him, not me, take him.
Wow. Yeah, you never go alone in situations like that, right?
Yeah, no, never. Yeah, it wasn't until we got to know them I realized they were actually pretty decent people. They were really nice people. I don't think they ever looked at us like they were going to eat us. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. And they were just as excited to do this movie as we were. So I'm sure there's a few of them even watching right now from Denver, just listening to what we're saying, making sure we don't say the wrong thing and they come after us.
No, we're like, this is a film festival. We are just like playing around here. I'm sure
Right?
that, for them, it's pretty serious what they do. For us, it's entertainment because we're like in a film festival. So,
Right?
this is our part of the. No, but we respect everybody's choice of life.
Yeah, so in this movie, when you watch the credits, there's a lot of little pictures and videos that show up during the credits.
Mhm.
All of that is actual footage from their vampire ball, the big vampire dance and all that they have there. Like you see there's a part where they hoist a person up on a cross into the air. That's all real. None of that scripted. None of that. We didn't do any of that. That's all their footage that they gave us to
Wow.
show. And that's kind of what this movie is based on. The place that we break in, that our documentary crew breaks into, is the vampire ball.
All right.
And so it's a lot of it's real footage from the real festivals, and you get to see all the real vampires and how they dress up and all sorts of stuff. It's interesting.
It still gets to me. I mean, it still makes my head turn a little bit. This idea of getting too real with that stuff.
Right? It's very
because
it's a lot
everything
realer
is
than we thought.
okay. Yeah, everything is okay when we're like doing here a festival about things that are not real and are fiction. But I mean, as soon as you come bringing the idea of something that's being real, that's a little bit mind twisting for us, right?
Right,
When
exactly.
you think about it, right? Wow.
I remember I first got the idea of real vampires back, gosh, I was probably 19, 20 years old. And it was right around Halloween, was it like 2020 or something like that? Did a whole little story about these people that live their lives as vampires, and that's where we first got the idea. And when we started looking into real life vampires, and then realized, oh no, it's a lot darker than that show ever even showed. So, but yeah, if you get to know them, they're really nice people too. So
yeah, of course. That's
they'll
why
just
you're
eat
still
you.
alive.
It's fine.
That's why you're still here talking to us.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so fun. So what do you think of that, Larry? Larry, you're so quiet today. What happened?
No,
Larry?
I'm listening. It's the true stuff. The stuff the truth is what we're usually searching for as filmmakers. And Girl Next was based on true events. So all that stuff in there is there's a lot of shade of honesty and truth to it, and the tragedy of human trafficking is very real, and the selling of people and those techniques. Everything we touched on in there is pretty factual. The names were changed to protect the innocent, but the truth is in there.
No, his film is very strong.
I'm going to actually go look for it later on tonight to see if I can find it.
If you got Tubi, it's free. You can watch it. It looks great. I got up the other morning and I saw it on there and I clicked on it to see what it looks like. I even finished it, and I never watched my own movies. Usually I've seen it. You'll see me at a film festival somewhere in the screening, and at the back I'm like, wake him up for the Q&A because I've seen it. But Girl Next it's the first one that hasn't caught me that way. It is very strong, and very proud of the actors and everybody. I'm always looking for honest moments. We keep running scenes again until I believe it, and then we move on. And they did a really good job. They did.
What do you think
I plan to find it.
What was do you think, Larry? They were talking about their difficulties in making their film. What do you think it was? And I said some difficulties of making mine, like sitting in the remote control. But what do you think that was like the most difficult moment in your film that you had to face and resolve to, like one of them. One.
There was
the biggest one.
none. It was completely easy. No problems at all.
Like smooth, like an ice cream.
No,
Right.
what I will say is that, we wrapped on Girl Next like right before the pandemic hit. I mean, literally like 2 weeks and everything just got shut down. And I was about to get on a plane and go to Barcelona to do our color correction and oversee visual effects and stuff. And then all of a sudden, no travel, I'm scared to go outside and take a piss the way the media was blowing it out of control.
Seriously.
But yeah, no, it's the pandemic was totally terrible. But that was the challenge was we had visual effects going in Barcelona and color correction. We had visual effects going in Greece, and we had visual effects growing here in Houston. And then my composer is in the UK, and it was truly an international production. And it's actually been the same way kind of with Quantum Devil since I came home. It's a lot of Zoom calls. Frame.io is really handy tool. Like the VFX artist can put up scenes and I can go and actually can make notes. I can even draw on them and we can talk.
That's cool.
And sometimes we can talk in real
That's
time.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, thank God for 16-bit digital technology. You know what I'm saying? So we're, but it's really cool today because we do so much of our business I'm talking to you guys now on my cell phone. I do call sheets from the cell phone or the laptop, and used to we were at the under the thumb of the studio, and everything was locked out to us, and now everything's at our fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think one thing I think that was good about the pandemic is that, not good about the pandemic. That's not what I meant. What I meant is that we had.
Oh, it was good for somebody.
To adjust, that made us as human beings to find a solution, because we always have to find solutions when we are faced with adversity, right? And so it forced us to find ways like this one, because now we can work and do things more online and internationally. So we can, things that before we wouldn't imagine to do that, but now everybody, it's okay with that idea. Because before people were like, oh no, I don't want to do something online, or I don't want to do something but now everybody had to do. Everybody, it's kind of, even shopping online that, people wouldn't consider it. Now they have to shop online and stuff. So I think there are a lot of things that the pandemic brought as, let's say, teaching for us that we can keep even when pandemic ends.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It changed the whole world and everything we know. But the things that it didn't change are, story is still always going to be king. Characters, honesty, and acting. That's the important thing, and that stuff's all still solid and will always work, I think.
Yeah, but seeking, for example, before you had to do a casting, you needed to rent a room or have a production company and then have people coming over and da. Now everybody, send a video and then the job is done. Like you said yesterday that you had 2,000 girls, reading for the part.
Yeah, we did. Backstage was a tremendous tool in casting Girl Next, and we've made a conscious decision to not put any name actors in the movie because we wanted people to watch the story and get absorbed in what was going on in the screen. So we did like a worldwide search, and we used Backstage, and we had like 2,000 girls for Lorian. And we had a lot of people for Heinrich. There was only one good one, Marcus, and he did a great job. I was looking at so many people and nobody was right, and I was just one day I just out of desperation, I just put up this post, and I was just like vented, and I'm just like, I want somebody with some balls to come on accept my challenge, and I get this email from this guy Marcus Jean-Pierre. It's challenge accepted.
So backstage now it's worldwide.
Yeah, I know. I was able to reach all over the world, UK.
Really?
You know, because I always knew. Yeah. Well, here it is.
Because I know backstage. I mean, I'm from the time where I'm from the time when backstage was Dramalog. I'm that old.
No, come on.
I got from since Dramalog, I know backstage, and then Dramalog became backstage, and now it was backstage West, and then we had like East, and then now you have worldwide. I mean, things are developing, and I'm like not seeing it happening. Oh God.
Well, how about Film Freeway? I mean, Film Freeway is amazing. Is really a game changer because I remember burning DVDs and going to the mailbox and paying all this money, and it was hard work doing the festival circuit. Now,
definitely.
But there is a good side and a bad side to it too. Because, for example, the first film I did, it was in Los Angeles. Actually, it was in 2001. And I had to send the film, the VHS tape, right, to the festival in New York, and then I was selected in New York to the festival, and then I went to New York for the screening, and then I came to Brazil, and I was lucky because I was invited. I won a prize there. It was a best foreign language film, and then I was invited to a festival here in Brazil, which is a very old festival. I went to the 21st edition of this festival in Ceará. And then when I was there, the film was shown, and then two directors of two other festivals in Brazil were there. They saw the film and they took me. So I went to another two festivals. So my film went to like 4 festivals. But it's like I went to Ceará, Recife, and Gramado, which is a very big festival here in Brazil. It's one of the most prestigious. For me, it was like, oh my God, my film went to 4 festivals, and I won a prize in New York, and I was like, so this was a big deal, right? Mm-hmm. Because there wasn't Film Freeway. And now you have Film Freeway, and sometimes I get films that it's like, oh, we've been through 200 festivals. Sorry, this doesn't mean anything to me. To be 200 festivals, because I mean, what does that mean? To be 200 festivals.
That experience is something I hope we get that back, because I mean, when my first movie Jacob, when it got picked up, I was one of the last guys to have a wall of my movie in Blockbuster and Hollywood Video, and Redbox was just coming out. But like you, I got into one festival, and then I met this guy from another festival and another, and wound up going like all over the world with my movie and landing like 19 awards. And finally went to a different country, and man, that was like one of the best experiences of my life. And I met people and developed relationships with filmmakers, collaborated later, and I hope we can get back to that. That's why I was telling you, you do this event live, I will come. I will come.
I even acknowledge that online festivals, like my festival, it's a live festival. I do in the cinemas, but because of the pandemic, I have to do it online. I've been doing it online for the last one and this one I'm doing online. But it's a real festival. It's like a cinema festival. But I'm talking about people going crazy, like doing a short film and then sending to 200 festivals and getting 200 prizes, and then coming to me with like a poster with like 200, awards. That doesn't
can't even see the poster anymore.
Exactly.
little banners.
What is that? I'm not saying that people shouldn't get awards, but I think that I don't think we should lose I say that as a festival director, and I say that as a director, we shouldn't lose the meaning of the film festival.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a film festival. What we're doing here is a film festival. We have real filmmakers sitting, talking, and we are showing films. We're doing a lot of work to promote this film. We have a real festival here. But to send your film to 50 festivals that you don't even get to talk to anybody.
Right?
I don't understand how does it work, right? Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Like
I think that's why I'm enjoying
right?
this so much.
It's so bizarre to me. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't feel like I won a prize or something in a festival that I had no relation to anything that happened there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or even, it's just a page on the internet saying I'm a film festival and here's your stamp.
I'd like to see analytics. If you're approved in a film festival and you win an award, okay, let's see some numbers of how many people viewed this, kind of thing.
Well, I can tell you one thing that I was very opposed to online festivals because when we were finishing Girl Next, I didn't want my movie pirated, before it was distributed, before we had a distributor. Once you have distribution, it's because you can't stop it the day it comes out, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But that was a very real concern. And I'll tell you guys a story I told her yesterday. My movie, Jacob, when it came out, we sold North America first. And I was out doing all these festivals, and our worldwide sales guy calls me and says, "Hey, Larry, I need you to upload your movie and give me a secure screener on a password. I need it right now because I'm at this market." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm at a film festival. I got my laptop, dude. And he's like, "You get it now, or this whole deal's off." So I'm like, "Fuck, what am I gonna do?" So then I got in there and I got on the torrents and I looked. It's literally the day after my movie comes out. I downloaded my own movie in HD with 5.1 surround, uploaded it to their site with the secure passwords. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's true. That's damn to God, true story.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah. So
it's a real concern. I have many directors. They are afraid when we speak to them, like we accept the movie and all that. We have to guarantee them that in our case, we use a platform that's a real platform. It's like a very mainstream platform that's Immovision, that's associated to the real cinemas and a distributor. So it's not like something that we put on the internet. It's something that's very solid and it's all protected, DRM and all that stuff. And so it's safe. It's safe. You cannot hack it. I don't know if you're a dark web crazy, hacker. I don't know. Sometimes these guys hack, governments, right? So I'm saying here that to a level of security, it's safe. It's safe. Like Netflix is safe. That's what I mean. Or Amazon is safe. So, but it should be a concern to not have the film in anything that can, some festivals may even put on YouTube. I don't know.
Yeah. My attitude toward it has changed a little bit because, it's something you're not going to stop. Back when I first started, we'd send cease and desist letters. It's like a hydra. You cut one off and two other heads pop out.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But on the good side, though, you're getting a fan base and people can see your movie. And I do feel like people that really enjoy the movie, they're like, "Damn, that was good. Screw this torrent. I'm going to go buy the Blu-ray, put it in my collection." And that's who I'm making movies for anyway, are those people. So
yeah, exactly.
It's some good side to it too. People stealing your shit.
I think that there is a change in the industry of what it was. And from the time, from our time, because I don't think I'm older than you guys. I may be, but but I
feel pretty old.
Yeah, well, I'm 49, so I may be older than some of you.
Get out.
But what? That I'm 49? I am 49.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that.
You look like you're like 19.
No, I'm 49. I swear to God. You cannot have all the experience that I have and be 19. I need time to to.
Well, I mean, let's clarify. Filmmaker years are like dog years to people. Okay, so every year chasing films is like double duty.
But what I think that has changed in the industry, like you said, okay, I want to have a Blu-ray for my collection. We still have people that would have a Blu-ray for the collection. Like we have people that you have vinyls, like, the real discs to hear. It's refined. It's a very refined way of, dealing with cinema and everything. But most people, like the big public today, they are online. They don't even go to the cinemas, even though a lot of people go to the cinemas because it's an experience to go to the cinema, to see the film in the big screen, to eat the popcorn. It's like, it's entertainment, it's going out, da, da, da. So I don't think cinemas will end ever. I think we'll always have cinemas because people need the entertainment.
Yes.
I think that we'll still have a public that would have the Blu-rays. I think that you have most of the public, and then we have to think about the new generations and all that were born without all this that we had. And they don't even know. I mean, what's like we're talking about VHS here, and people may not even know what that is. You know what I mean?
There's no experience like watching a movie or something on VHS in a dirty VCR.
Yeah.
This is true.
That's a charm to it, right? And you know what? Since you said that, I'm going to tell you something that bothers me a lot. One thing that I really like about cinema is the grains, is the dirt in the picture.
Yes.
And the fact that all this highly 4K, 8K, 20K, whatever K, very, very... sometimes it's almost like it's real or it's television. It's not cinema, some film. I mean, I understand that
overstabilized.
It's too much. It's too polished.
It's certainly unkind to actors and actresses. At least it is on my big 85-inch.
Right?
Sony Bravo. Like, ooh.
It's like, well, I can see.
It's very tough for actors. Yeah, it's very tough. But I just think that cinema needs that magic, this blur, this touch of not so real to get the message across. What do you guys think about that? Do you agree with me, or am I going crazy here with that idea?
I actually understand exactly what you mean. We're shooting in 4K, and then like our new movie we got in 4K, but then we have a special. It's that grain. It's an overlay of the grain to bring back that whole cinema feel to it that we're going to overlay it with at the very end. So that way it will have that little graininess to it. So that way it still has that feel rather than just being like you said, like something you'd see on TV in 4K with pimples everywhere.
Yeah. When I went to Los Angeles, I was an actress. The first film I did, it was a short film. It was in 35 millimeters.
Oh, wow.
I'm from that time.
It's an art.
Yeah. But it was fun because then you had the grain naturally, right? And now we have to put the filters, the gorilla filters of live to
to get it back.
To get it back. Oh God. It's like plastic surgery. Today everybody's have plastic surgery, Botox, and all the stuff, and then everybody's starting to look alike. And
yes,
right. So you have those faces that that person it looks like that, but it's so strange, right? But it's like how cinema is being made because it's too polished.
Very much so, yeah.
You need that, not being that perfect. You need the imperfection. I think the imperfection, it's it's a key ingredient in cinema.
Mm.
Yeah, well, I'd still go back and we'll say that story and character, great dialogue, and even with the we shot Girl Next in 8K, but we still lit the scenes. You know what I mean? We did our color on set and went as far as we could and to still recreate that. I mean, that is what filmmaking is. But we have to embrace it. You can't just put your foot down and stomp around. You got to keep moving forward and realize.
No, yeah, sure.
Yeah, we used to have a movie business. Now it's a subscription business. And how do I tell my story? How do I tell my story? And still be able to move people, move audiences. Because I mean, my whole reason for doing this is I'm always trying to entertain the guy that got off the night shift. At 3 a.m, he's in his underwear and he's got his big bowl of Sugar Pops or Captain Crunch, and he's going to sit down and he's going to watch the movie, and he wants to be entertained, man. And I want to make sure that guy's like, oh yeah, man, It's like, yeah,
Hey, John, he just described you.
Well, and going back to the way the way everything's advanced. I was watching some behind the scenes the other day of some of the mainstream movies that were using like green screen sets, and that's all it was. And I was actually watching this one. It was about John Wick, and it was like motorcycles on top of dollies being pushed around by people in green suits. The entire room just a green screen, and it had the behind the scenes and the actual scene side by side, and I'm like, wow, is that what we've gotten to?
Yeah.
And I mean, I get that it's got its place for certain things, especially in these big budget movies where they're doing the incredible feats of humanity that can't be done in real life, but when it comes to movies, that's not a story. I feel like it's just a special effects, bonanza.
Exactly. I won't name the film because I don't even remember what film it was. But I went to the cinema a few years ago with my cousin, and actually it was one of those films, right? This big, blockbusters films. And I went with him because I wanted to spend some time with my cousin, because he was a very lovely person. He died a few years ago, but we were raised together, kind of, and so it was fun to go to the movies and popcorn and all that. So he wanted to see that film that I would never choose, but I went with him because what the hell, right? At least I go to the movies with my cousin. And what happened is that we were watching this film, and it was a sequence of blasts and jumping and things and motorcycles and whatever, people jumping from buildings or whatever they're doing there. And it's like it never stopped. There wasn't like a rhythm. There was, oh, it's your dog. I was hearing.
Yeah, they're hungry. They usually eat at 5. They're like, hey, dude.
Oh, I thought it was a pig.
No.
It's like oinking. I said, dog, hello, doggy. Oh, how cute. And so it was a sequence of, all these things happening. And I was like, okay, Jesus, and what's the story? What's the story? Because, it was a sequence of jumping and things, and it had to happen. It had to,
Just never got to really tell the story with all the action.
I mean, there was something behind it, of course. I mean, they had to follow a script to do that. But I mean, it was exactly what John was saying about the green,
Mm-hmm.
It was FX bonanza, this thing. So I think that there's space for everybody. What I was trying to say when we start talking about, the grains and the cinema and the time that I had to use the VHS and all that, is that the cinema industry evolves and the audience also, right? You have the new generations. Mm-hmm. And us as filmmakers, I think that when we talk about this pirating and all that, I think we shouldn't worry much about this. We should worry about creating the content, of course, trying to earn money to making the content because we need to live and make the money in order to keep on doing that. But we shouldn't, because these films, they're gonna go on streaming, and if you think about it, how do you get the money back really? Like it's never going to be like it was in the past, because the streaming platforms pay very little. You have to have a lot of views in order to make money out of this. People may not go to the cinemas to see it. So I think that the film has to pay for itself in the production. So we have to find ways to make the film pay itself in the production and keep doing other films and other films and other films. But I think the industry will never go back to what it was in the past, that you made the film and then you spend like 20 years earning money from that film. I don't think the industry is never going to be that again. With the ways
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it, yeah.
Well, you can, but they have to be really good.
Really, really good, yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, no, but don't you think that there is like we have to think about new ways of, even when we decide to make a film, what's the outcome and what's going to happen and how we're going to recoup from it. So
I think on our end, we didn't make this movie to become rich or anything like that. We're hopeful that we'll make some money to at least cost what we spent for it. But I think we create more for the art of it at this point. And what we're doing is we're just creating because we like creating. And we're having fun with it. And like our next movie has a named actor in it that wants to work with us because of it. And it's fun for us. So we like getting out there and just making this stuff for the fun of it. With the hopes, maybe one day we'll get paid back for it. But if not, I'm pretty happy with people seeing our stuff too. So that's why I like the film festival circuit. Guarantees people are watching my stuff, and I like that. So.
Right. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying, and but I think that more you make films, more you're gonna want to make bigger films and better.
Yes.
Films.
Oh, yes.
And so you're gonna need money for it.
Yes.
Right? Because you can't max out your cards anymore. It's going to.
This is true.
Guys,
I know here in America that there's a lot of filmmakers use like Indiegogo and stuff like that to help raise funds for the movies and stuff like that. And I know that's what we're going to do with this next one. We're going to do the Indiegogo way. We're going to do.
It works well. I asked you that, and we never got through talking about it. Does it work well, Indiegogo and stuff?
I've been told it works well. I haven't actually tried it yet. So we're in the process of making the content that we're going to put on there to get the funding. But if you go on there, you can see a lot of filmmakers have raised a lot of money to make their movies on there. So we're going to give it a try and see what happens.
There is another one that's pretty famous. What's the name of the other one? Larry must know. The name of the other platform for. I didn't get it. What did you say?
I'm sorry.
I missed the joke. I'll hear it after. But what's the name of the other one? The other platform? Quickstarter.
You're talking about GoFundMe? Oh.
GoFundMe? No, Quickstarter.
Yeah.
Oh, Quickstarter.
They're all basically the same thing. There's a couple of different platforms.
Is it Kick or Quick?
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter is one of them. Yeah.
That one is pretty famous.
Yeah, Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good talking to you guys, and your dog is calling for you. Tell these people to stop talking because I want to eat.
Either wants to eat or go poop. Either way, it's serious.
See, this is the intervention of nature, like I was telling you about.
There you go.
Yeah.
It was great talking to you guys. I would love to extend our talk, but we can do it another day. And let's be friends and think about our project of going to Europe and looking for the haunted castles there.
I am game, 100%.
And
very nice talking to all you people.
Great having you guys at the festival. Thank you for availability, for being here, okay?
Oh, thank you. We appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.